Hi everyone, it's Evangeline here at etrailer, and today we'll be taking a look at the Yakima RidgeBack hanging style bike rack right here on our 2019 Ford Explorer. The Yakima RidgeBack is what you would go with if you want to carry a lot of bikes but not sacrifice some of the premium features that you would expect from a Yakima bike rack. So you can get either the 4 or the 5 bike version. What I have here is the 4 bike version. They work pretty much the exact same way. The only difference is going to be that it has an extra cradle as well as length added to the back of your vehicle. So we'll take a look at some of the different specs, different measurements, different features, but we'll focus on how it works on your Ford Explorer. First thing to take a look at is how tall it is. This may be an issue with your Ford Explorer because of where your hitch receiver is higher up off the ground compared to some other vehicles. So if you are going to have some issues with height, like me, I'm 5'2", I have to reach up to get the bike into the frame, definitely something worth considering. But let's take a look at the way our bike is mounted to this bike rack. We have cradles that are about 5.5 inches apart. We also have a weight capacity of 150 pounds total, but a single weight capacity of 40 pounds. So if you have a 40-pound bike, you can load this up and then load up other bikes as long as your total is not over 150. Our bike is mounted at 3 points. So 1, 2 here on top, then our third is our anti-sway. So with that engaged, this is how much sway there is. And when you press these levers, pull that zip strip out and push this in just to show that that's how much more sway we have. So big difference. You definitely want all of your bikes engaged. That way you minimize their sway into each other. So to take these off, it's a zip strip, so super fast. Press those levers and zip strip that out. You're then going to want to push your anti-sway cradles into the bike rack just to free up some space. That way you'll be able to grab your bike, bring them through the arms, you're ready to go. With the bike off, we can take a closer look at our cradle. So notice how we have these nice cushions and those grooves on the inside. That's going to be for your brake lines. Your zip strips will also have that cushion on top. So whether it's on the top or the bottom of the frame, you have that cushion adding grip as well. A pro tip with these zip strips is I do recommend rotating them. That way, if you're always using this cradle, which you should load first anyways, just switch them around with the farthest cradle. That way, just like how you rotate your tires, you rotate your zip strips just to get an even amount of wear and tear. While you can carry a lot of bikes with this bike rack, this also adds a lot of length to the back of your vehicle. So we'll take some measurements, measuring from our bumper to the end of the bike rack, which is by these signature Yakima bottle openers. Let's see, right there. It's going to sit at a length of about 39 inches. The 5 bike version is going to add another 5.5 inches to that. So definitely something whenever you're backing in your garage or parking in a tight spot, don't forget that length added, especially if you have a really small garage, something worth thinking about. With your bikes loaded on here, you're going to lose about half of your visibility out of your rear window because it sits right over here. You can bring these arms down though to reduce the length added. So you're going to have to pull this lever on top. Let's see if I can reach it. There we go. And then this goes down and it snaps into place. So big difference compared to when the arms were up. Let's take some measurements again. Clearance, lots of it. There's going to be from the bumper to the mast about 7 inches of clearance. The length now added to the back of our car is from the bumper to the ends of the cradles about 16 inches. So big difference compared to when these arms were up. If you did have limited space inside of your garage, you'll definitely put it in this position. Obviously, you can't carry your bikes like this, so this is still a good position for it to be in if you're just planning on driving around town, not planning on bringing your bikes out, but you also don't want to take your bike rack off. But what if you want to access your hatch? Well, you can't really do it with this bike rack up, so you can tilt it away. We have a lever in the front. Pull that lever, and then this drops down. This actually has a really deep tilt compared to some of our other hanging bike racks, so that's good. So you can see here we have plenty of clearance between our door and our mast, allowing us to get into our trunk, grab whatever we need. If it's our waters, our helmets, our backpacks, we can grab them really quick You are going to have to take your bikes off though. If that's going to be a big issue for you, you may want to check out our platform racks that can tilt away with the bikes on. But this is still a nice option because then you don't completely lose access to your hatch. But what is it like living with this bike rack behind your vehicle? Well, with this folded up, you can see how it does sit in the middle of our rear window. Although it's nice and compact to the sides, obviously our tail lights are still visible. It does cover up our backup camera though, since it is centered right where that mast is, and it kind of covers up our license plate, which is normal with pretty any bike rack though. Let's take a look at ground clearance though. Ground clearance will be measured right where that special plate is, and that to the ground is 18.5 inches. That is why our bike rack sits so high up though, because we have more ground clearance on the Explorer compared to other vehicles. If that's going to be a big issue for you, another good option is the Malone runway, which sits lower to the ground. So this has an 1.25 inch shank with an included 2-inch hitch adapter. We have a 2-inch factory hitch on our Ford Explorer, so you just pop that in and it's a tool-free install. You have this safety pin here on the left hitch pinhole, but you tighten it down with this locking speed knob at the end. With that tightened down, you can lock it too, that way no one can loosen it, it would just free spin on them. With this tightened down, it extends a wedge on the inside of our shank. So let's do a quick shake test. With that wedge in there, you can see how I'm really just moving the vehicle as I shake our bike rack, showing that it's a secure fit, especially for our side-to-side motion. Some people, if they see an 1.25 inch adapter, they're worried about if the anti-rattle works, but you can see here, it works well to reduce that rattle. So my personal thoughts about this bike rack is it's great if you want to carry a lot of bikes, especially with the 5-bike version. You really get a lot of quantity. If your Ford Explorer is filled with your friends, your family, you all want to go for a bike ride, this allows you to carry all of your bikes. The downside to this is just how tall it is. It's tricky finding the best fit for the Explorer. I found some really good fits is going to be the Malone runway. You can get up to 4 bikes on that. Sits a bit lower to the ground. That way you don't have to lift as high to load up your bikes. Or you can go the platform rack route. At a similar price point, you can get a hold of the Hollywood Rack's Destination Bike Rack. That's a 4-bike platform rack. You can't tilt it away, so it's got pretty much the same features as the Yakima Backroad. So you have your pros, you have your cons. Hopefully this video helped you out with figuring out if this has the weight capacity and the features that you like for your bicycles and your vehicle. Here on our test course, we'll start by going through the slalom. This is going to show us the side-to-side action, which simulates turning corners or evasive maneuvers. Once we get to the alternating speed bumps, we'll see the twisting action. This will simulate hitting a curb or a pothole or driving over uneven pavement. Now lastly, we're going over some full speed bumps, and we can see here the up and down action, and this will just be like driving in and out of a parking lot, garage, or driveway. And that was a look right here at our Yakima RidgeBack 4 or 5 bike hanging style bike rack right here on our 2019 Ford Explorer.